So guys, we would be presenting our StudentNest housing app. So the main objective of our app is based on two problem statement areas. So one is how extremely important it is for students to find a safe housing spot, and the other problem statement is how much of a hassle it is for students to find a potential tenant to sublease their current housing spot. So based on these two problem areas, so we have built a common platform wherein the USC students can register with our app and perform either of these two functions seamlessly. So this is our application design architecture. Our app integrates data from two different domains. One is DPS alerts crime data set, where we have a Python web scraper which calls onto the DPS website once in 2 days based on a scheduler, and it collects the data and stores it into our AWS RDS database. And the other data set is we have housing data for which we have provided a user input front-end UI, where user will be USC students will have to register and input the fill in the housing details. So for the demo and testing purpose, so we'll be using a survey data which we have put it across, and that data has been collected from the USC students who are currently looking out for subleasing their apartments. In terms of technologies used, so we use Django for building our web application framework. So and AWS RDS as our backend database. And we have used JavaScript for client-side validations and a Python web scraper for scraping the crime alerts data. And finally, we have hosted our web application on Heroku server. And moving on to SDLC lifecycle. So initially we chose to use iterative software development lifecycle. So with this, we at the initial stage of our development, we didn't have the clear idea of our all the whole of the picture and the features of our app. So we just started with the iterative cycle model. So with this, we were able to track the progress of our development stage wise, and we were able to build and add the additional features to our application step by step. With this, we were also able to identify the app bugs and resolve them stage wise with every iteration stage. Uh, then moving on to project development flow. So the phase one of our application development was data acquisition and preparation. So my teammate would be presenting you the phase one.
Okay, so the phase one of the project development flow is data acquisition and preparation. So we have collected the DPS alerts data from the DPS website and categorized the unique locations as red and safe zones based on the frequency count of locations. A lot of data cleaning and preparation has been done on the data way for storing the data on the database. For the sublet housing post data acquisition, we have conducted a survey wherein we have collected the data from different social media platforms such as WhatsApp and different Facebook groups. Okay, so the two snapshots that you see on the screen are for the housing data. These were also collected as part of the as part of the survey from the different WhatsApp and Facebook groups. Next. Okay, so coming to the USC DPS alerts data, we have used the Python scripting language for two things mainly. The first one being for web scraping. So we have scraped the DPS alerts data from the website. So as you can see in the screenshot, the first screenshot, it has different attributes of the DPS data, like the incident type, incident description, date and time of occurrence, the incident location, the vehicle suspect description. So as this is the first output of our data set, we have used this to get the different unique locations and count from the data set using NLP. So basically, we have used the NLP NLTK package for getting the unique locations and their count. This gave us an accuracy of around 40 to 50% of the unique locations to be extracted. So to increase the extraction accuracy, we have used different customized functions. Also, the output of these two data sets are written back to the MySQL AWS RDS database. And this Python script is scheduled to run twice a day in EC2. And the EC2 instance is associated with a static elastic IP address. So we have made it static because the EC2 IP address is associated to the network security group of RDS. So this helps us to get the refresh data all the time. Next.
So now that we have the data set from two different sources sitting in our database, we moved on to the next phase of development, that is design and implementation. So firstly, we built the front-end UI for our web app pages, such as login, sign up, sublet posting, and query listings. Then we built a Django application framework, so which I shall be showing with you now. So this is our web application framework. So we have built two data models, that is sign up detail and sublet post. So these are the two main models which we are using to collect the to capture the information from front end UI and put it into a database. So for that we have written two functions called sublet and sign up. So these are the two functions which will be using the two data models to capture the information, user input data from front end UI, and validate the information and store it into the database. So we also have another function called sign in, so which is used for our login page. So this sign in function validates the user login credentials with respect to USC email ID and the password entered by the user. And if the credentials are valid, then the user will be allowed to log in into our page. So if the credentials are invalid, then the user will be seeing a error thrown from the system. So post that, in case the user tries to log in as a sublease holder, then we are rendering a page called apartment details form. And if the user logs in as a tenant, then we are rendering a page called apartment listings. So this function does that job. So finally, we have a function called listings. So this is the main function which has the implementation logic for our apartment listings page. So basically, in our listings page, we have provided a search bar wherein the user can do an empty search to get the list of all the sublet postings which is stored in our system, along with a heat map that displays the frequency count of the crime alerts that has happened within the DPS zone. So in case the user inputs a particular location, then based on that location, we are filtering out the sublet posts and showing only those records. Simultaneously, the heat map also will display the for that particular location whether it's a red zone or a safe zone. So this is the code logic for that. Other than this, we have something called URLs PY, where we have listed out all our URL mappings of our web pages. So this is it about our web application framework. Yes. Once we got our web application framework ready, we moved on to integration testing phase. So we'll quickly give you a demo of our web app features. So over to you, Bramhotri.
StudentNest housing app. To begin with, we can just sign up first. Okay, so this is the sign up form wherein we have different fields, and I'll just quickly fill up all of this. Okay, so once I click on the submit button, this has signed up successfully. And once I click on the OK button, it lands up on the main homepage of the USC Student Nest app. Over to you, Manasa.
So now that we have signed up, let's sign into the app and look into the functionality. So first, I will be signing in as a leaseholder. So as a leaseholder, you will be able to fill this apartment details form where you'll be able to fill in details of your apartment listing that will be visible on the listings page. So let me take you through the listings. And submit. So once the form is submitted, it will lead you back to login again. This time, let us log in. When you sign in as a tenant, you will be first able to view all the listings that are there that have been uploaded by leaseholders. And on this map, you can also see the blue spots which indicate crimes that have occurred in those areas. So suppose a person is looking for a housing in a specific location, let's say in Shrine Place, which is a locality near USC. So you can see there are 2 listings. And you can also see whether they're close to a place that a crime has occurred. So this spot is here and there's a crime occurred in this area. So maybe you'll want to avoid this place. And similarly, you can check for the other spot as well. And the listings are also available here where you have access to information like the rent, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, the amenities, whether it's furnished or not, whether the rent is negotiable or not, the contact details of the leaseholder. Let's look at some other locations. So Ellendale is said to be the safest location for housing near USC campus for international students especially. So let's see the listings there. So as you can see, the crime rate in this area is significantly lower when compared to other areas, and the listings are also available for viewing here. Now let me enter the location where there are no listings. In that case, there'll be no listings showing up, but then the heat map will still be available for people to view what areas are more crime prone and what are not. So once they have completed viewing the listings, they can log out. And if they need to, they can log in again. So as of now, we have gone through the functionality of our app. We have currently built a basic prototype with which the leaseholders can upload their listings onto the site, and the tenants can view the listings and contact the leaseholders on their own. But moving on, coming to future work, we would like to make an end-to-end application where the tenants will be able to communicate with the leaseholders and vice versa on the app itself using either a chat functionality. We can also have the app to allow functionality where the users, the leaseholders can arrange for house showings. We can finally also have a payment gateway. We can also allow tenants to sign leases on our website. So our end goal with this app would be to have an end-to-end platform where a tenant can come to the site, view the listings, contact the leaseholder, sign the lease, make the payment, book the housing spot, and also arrange a move-in date. And similarly for the leaseholder as well, to have the entire end-to-end process on our app itself. We would also like to have a reviews functionality where the tenants will be either able to rate or give reviews for the listing, so that the other tenants who are also viewing our site can have an idea about how good or bad a listing is. This will make the app a more interactive platform. That is our goal for this app. Thank you so much for viewing our presentation. We have left the link to our hosted app in the description. Please feel free to explore the app. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.